Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Writer's Adventure and another boot camp.
This is a big one. Many of you probably will get here, and this will be your first boot camp, quite possibly. It might even be what introduces you to us because you're a writer and you're like, what's my structure? I need a structure. So if you're brand new to meeting us, I'm Tina O, or Tina Overbury, and this is my writing partner.
Mary Beth Dean. It's me.
The fingers are all backwards on this one. I'll just do this. And Mary Beth and I have been working together, writing together for a good 7 years now, on and off, up and down, all the different things. And we walk alongside writers at various points in their writing journey. Some of them start in the very beginning with us from a total blank page. Others come with already, 30 to 50,000 words put together. Others may have even more than that, and they're now trying to figure out what they have. And so I want you to know, and we both want you to know, that wherever you are, this boot camp is going to support you to understand where you are, what you have, what you may or may not have, and what you probably need to do to get to the end of it. Yeah, so this is an important one for us, and we're really glad that you're here.
Yeah, we're all about helping you get things done. And we don't always, our box sometimes looks a little bit funny to people, but we do have a box, and that's the point. We kind of push the boundaries, but we also believe in that the boxes themselves are important because they carry us. We carry them.
Yeah.
And all our stuff and all our stories.
And let's be honest, nobody goes on an adventure in just their jeans and a t-shirt and bare feet, right? Well, not that ain't an adventure. It's just its own kind of adventure. But if right.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody. I was just remembering a friend of mine who lived in New Zealand for a while, and she told me she went on a big road trip with her family. She has 4 kids. And the first, I don't know, at some point in the road trip, they realized they forgot to pack shoes for the kids.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh boy.
Saying we all roll our own ways, Tina.
We do. That's good. So on your writing adventure, each of these boot camps is filled with things that you're going to need. Stuff for your backpack, stuff, maps, shoes, pencils, all the things that you need. And so let's jump into this. Welcome. Here you are. Let's get to work.
Yeah.
We thought we'd start with 3 questions, right?
Yeah. So structure. What is it? What when someone says story structure to you, Tina, what do you think?
My first thought, I don't even have a thought. My first thing is a groan. I usually groan because I don't like to be told what to do. And I've also learned enough now that the kind of structure I like is just enough structure that I know where I am, or that I feel safe not knowing where I am. So I'm the just enough structure person.
Well, I'm going to get really concrete on you, and I'm just going to say beginning, middle, and end.
Is that what structure means to you?
In its most basic form.
Okay.
You're going to start somewhere. You're going to have a middle. You're going to go somewhere, and then you're going to end somewhere.
Yeah.
Every book, every story is a journey.
Yeah, that's great. So what's a structure? It's a journey. That's great. Awesome. Okay. Why do we need a structure, Mary Beth?
Because nobody wants to invest their time reading something which isn't going to have some kind of outcome or some kind of answer, or again, it's that journey question.
I think that there's so many ways to answer why structure. And I think you nailed the one that often gets missed, actually. Like often people come to us because they have a book to write and they've lived in this land of inspiration or these whispers in their head for so long. And they're like, okay, I need to do this. It's time to get this out. And it's actually all about the writer, which is okay. Like it's okay. But what you're bringing up is the other part of it. Is like after you've said yes to yourself, if you're going to invest 50,000 or 90,000 or more onto a page and your expectation is that someone's going to read it, the structure exists as much for you to write it as it does for the reader who you're taking their hand and taking them on that journey. So the structure is twofold. Why structure?
Yeah. Another reason why we need structure is because when we're writing, it's really helpful to have, maybe an endpoint. Not if you're writing a journal for every day of your life until you're 97 years old. Wouldn't it be lovely to live that long and still be able to write and think? But yeah, that kind of writing, you don't need a structure for that. Go have at her, just let your thoughts fall onto the page. But if you are interested in, publishing an article, publishing a book, putting something out there that someone other than you or someone who's just desperately interested to know what's going on in your brain is going to read, you need to have a conclusion. You need to work towards something.
What just came to mind for me around the journaling, right? Is I was watching Andy Warhol's on Netflix, the Andy Warhol Journal, I think is what it's called. And what's cool about that is, you can totally hear in his journal writing, there's no structure because it's not for a reader. It's only for him. Structure is exploration. But then the person who created the series had to put a structure around it. So me as the viewer got to actually understand the impact of why that person curated them in the first place. Why did he put this movie together? So that's the conclusion. I love that word. Yeah. I think the other thing about why structure is it creates safety for the writer, that it creates a guide point at any point in the writing. You're like, where am I? Oh, I'm here. Where am I going? Oh, I'm going there. Therefore, I know what to write next. Or I'm going there to that conclusion and I don't know how to get there. Oh, this is where I need to go and ask some questions. So having a structure tells the writer what to do next, whether it's writing, questioning, researching, right? So it's for the reader so they know where they are and you're taking them on a transformative journey. And it's for you, the writer, so that you know what to do next.
Well, yeah. And I mean, we talk a lot about, or writers talk a lot about, oh, I hit a wall, or, oh, I'm stuck. And a lot of times that stuck is either not knowing where I'm going next or knowing where you're going and not quite knowing how to get there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. I would say the other piece about we can riff on why structure forever. But another piece I'll give to structure is structure allows you to create an emotional experience for the journey. So I'm a tracker, right? So I can actually, once I get a barky outy draft, like just at a draft, and it looks like a big ball of yarn, I can go, I look at it almost like a roller coaster. I'm like, okay, so what's the structure I need that gives me some peaks? What's the structure? And then, oh, where's the valley? Oh, and then where do things level off? Structure is a lot like music too. It's like, where's the crescendo? Where am I breathing? So it's like mini journeys inside of a big journey. And although, that's not how we start writing, I just want you to know, again, because I don't know, neither Mary Beth or I know where you are in your writing process, but you will use structure through your entire writing process because it's all about the experience that you're creating for your reader.
Right. And then there's the other thing, which at some point you start like deciding your structure and then maybe you twist it all around and you mix it up and you make it crazy, right? It's like rules are meant to be broken, but you got to master those rules first.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I think you'll hear more about why structure throughout this whole boot camp. Our third question is, when do you need a structure? Where would you go with that, Mary Beth?
Oof. I think everyone's different, right? And for me, it really depends on what I'm writing. Um, Sometimes I like to feel my way in there. And I think I always do that. But what really helps me is sort of answering why. Like, why am I writing this? What's the whole point of this? And I think a lot of books are actually a bunch of random stories that are strung together by one particular thread, and maybe that thread is the why. So, if you've written 100,000 words and you're like, oh God, I have no structure, I don't think you need to give up hope, because your job is then to find the structure. But then maybe you're a person who really wants to have the structure right in front of you. So it's like, your job as a writer is almost like pouring a glass of milk, right? Well, I know it's going to go into this vessel.
Good one. Yeah. I think I would answer this. I think I would answer this in two ways. I would say, one, that you need a structure when you're not free as a writer. So what is your gate? What's the gateway that gets words on the page for you? And it's going to be to me, my offering is some kind of structure, even if the structure is no structure. If the structure for the day is no structure, I'm exploring, and now I feel free, I can get words on the page, then that's your structure. Your structure for freedom. So start thinking about what makes you want to put words on the page, not just words in your head, but what gets words on the page for you? What structure do you need? Some people need a full outline that they may or may not ever use other than to get started. So I would go, so when do you need a structure? When you're not feeling free. I would answer it that way. And I would also answer it, Mary Beth and I walk beside writers we take them through a 5-draft structure from beginning to end. And each of those drafts has its own outcome that we're going for. And so each draft has a tweaked story structure based on your process. So I would say you need a structure in each of those drafts. The only time you may not need a structure really is in what we call the collecting stage, where you're not actually putting it all. It's like receipts in a shoebox. You're literally just collecting all the jewels that you think you're going to play with. And that structure is, I would call it collecting. And then possibly you might not need one at the very, very end. I'm going to take that back. In fact, I think you need it more than ever when you're at the end, because you're measuring. Because when you're in order to keep your editing on track, what's keeping your editing on track is what's the structure I agreed on and what's my impact I'm going for. So I think the only time you don't need one is probably just collecting stage. Yeah. Cool. So wherever you may be in your own journey right now, just take a moment to reflect on where you are in your writing process. Blank page, some words, some insights. There's no wrong way to answer this. Where are you in your writing process? Know that Mary Beth and I are neurodiverse. So how we come at this boot camp will be like I love this word, cornucopia, a cornucopia of access points to write, to get it done. And expect the unexpected here, expect to adventure here, and know that we're going to give you as much as we can so that you can meet your own personal needs as a writer. Not the way we want you to do it, but the way you need to do it. So we're going to give you lots of tools and try to keep you grounded in that process.
I think grounded was the word that was in my mind that whole time you were talking, Tina. Grounded.
Nice. All right. So welcome. And let's tell you a little bit of what happens over these 3 days. So here's what you can expect in this 3-day boot camp. You are going to map out the skeleton of your story. And yeah, that skeleton might be a super sparse one, and it might be really dense and tons of bones. We don't know. We don't know where you're at, but there will be some kind of a skeleton of your story. Our hope is, and we've set this up, our hope is that you will write 1,500 to 2,500 words or more. A minimum of 500 words a day is our ask of you, and you could write way more. Expect to discover a shape for your work, like for the piece that you're writing, that will allow you to move forward and still keeps room to shift as your story develops. And you can expect to explore through these 3 days the journey of the reader, your central conflict, and the impact. Each day includes writing prompts for about 500 words or more, some kind of an adventure assignment for another 500 words, and an inspiration, like examples and things that will help you on your next adventure. And our offer to you as a goal is make this a word count weekend. Write 1,500 to 2,500 words or more of your manuscript, and know that this is just one adventure of the 12 adventures that Mary Beth and I are putting together. And should you do all 12 of them, you would have 30,000 words if you did them all. And that's a pretty good, sparse, but that's a pretty good first draft. That's your invitation, and let's begin, hey?
Yeah. Let's get to it.
All right. Onward and upward.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.